How many of you are hiding in your comfort zone? Hiding in that easy place? And I am here to tell you that it's time for the comfort zone to end. This is the end of the comfort zone. Now, the comfort zone is the failure zone, right? The comfort zone, now here's what's interesting about it. It doesn't feel like failure, right? What does it feel like? It feels like comfort. That's why we call it the comfort zone, right? The comfort zone is the failure zone. It's the place you settled in. But I got news for you. The comfort zone was never the place you were meant to be. Why? Because the comfort zone had been burned to the ground. Here's what's the interesting thing about the comfort zone. Oftentimes, we relish the comfort zone so much that God has to ordain that an enemy destroy it. Because I'm not going to, we ain't going to destroy it. I would destroy it, but it's a little bit too comfortable. And see, a lot of times we think that the end, we think that what's going on that's difficult is the end. But everything that feels bad ain't bad, and everything that feels good ain't good. And we think that the destruction of the comfort zone is the destruction of my life, but it's not. Right? Because why? Because my life begins at the end of my comfort zone. And we're talking right now about the end of the comfort zone. But here's what's going to happen. In your life, in my life, I can think back to times in my life where I did not end my comfort zone. God ended it. This is the end of the comfort zone. This is the end of the comfort zone.
Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Put your heart and hands together for our hosts, Larry Extraordinaire Moten, and the one and only, the amazing Keith Fletcher. In addition, our special guest host, the smooth but eloquent Mr. Vincent Craig. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets.
And good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Once again, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets. I am extraordinaire. And of course, friends, you all know him and y'all love him. The one and only, the amazing Mr. Keith Fletcher.
What up, what up, what up?
What's up, brother?
Man, what's going on, Extraordinaire? What's going on? Had a little tough difficulty coming on, but we here, man. We on the show. We here. Do our thing, man. To do our thing. How you doing?
I'm doing much better now, man. Like you say, we're here. I'm happy to see Selena is in the chat room and let me know that at least we're live now and things are working the way they're supposed to be working. So Selena, thank you very much. Go ahead on, my brother.
Nah, man, I'm happy to be here, man. It's another day. Hey, to be, do, and have. You know, that's our motto. We preach that to the end. Well, not preach it, but say it. You know, preach it, we giving it, we believe in it, man. Be fruitful, do multiply, have dominion. And I'm happy to be here to be better, man. To be better, be growing. You know, I like that piece. What he said about getting out the comfort zone. I like that, man. I like how we starting this off. Go ahead, Extraordinaire.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, that is a recurrent theme because in order for us to be able to move forward in our life, forward in whatever area you may be striving on doing, one thing for certain, friends, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And the show tonight is all about you becoming mobilized, finding your purpose, and becoming passionate about your purpose. And to do those things, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone because we promise you what you want, what you desire, what you are looking for. It's been waiting for you. It's been looking for you. But your comfort have kept you from connecting with your purpose. Fletcher.
Yeah. Man, you know, when we talk about comfort zone, you know, I got some friends that's going through it, and I've been through it. You know, and I ponder on this a lot, sure. Now I ponder on the things that I've done, things that I could have done different. So, you know, me, I look at things now. My biggest thing is preparing. You know what I'm saying? Putting a layer of protection around you, a hedge of protection around you. So, I know we got a comfort zone, but I just think we don't know how to prepare. I don't think we. I think you know what I'm saying. In our community, I think we're always behind. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would make us uncomfortable. When something come up, we're not prepared for it, and it becomes uncomfortable. So I was a lot of stuff that we do, we cause it's a cause and effect of what we done. Because usually we don't prepare. We don't prepare for the next stage, next level, the next, you know what I'm saying? Next opportunity. We're not preparing, we're not looking forward. I think that's what it's for me, that's what the comfort zone is, staying still, not growing, and not preparing, man. But the biggest part, like you're not preparing for the next stage, like for the next opportunity, for the next growth spurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it means to me.
Yeah, yeah. When you're not preparing, what happens, man? How do you feel when you're ill prepared for something that you know you have to do, know you have to face? How that make you feel?
You know, now because it's a different man, because I enjoy the uncomfortability, so I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm confident in myself. Another thing is that I learned to have my high self-esteem and being more confident in myself. So I'm always prepared. Like it's like something simple as getting up in the morning. I'm preparing myself for that day. So I'm always looking forward. In fact, now, you know, like when we come on the show back in the day, you know how you had that nervous feeling. Yeah, I get that. But then you know that this game face click on, because you know what I'm saying. I'm comfortable understanding when you growing. You know what I'm saying, when you preparing, especially if something I'm going after. I already know it's going to be some things that are going to come in the way. You know, so I just have my mind prepared for that. But also like saying I'm gonna use something for just that I've been going through. You know, I'll be talking about finances, and I'm talking to people about, you know what I'm saying, getting their stuff together, man. And a lot of people are not prepared. So when something happening, you know, they oh my God, oh this. And I'm like, well, you didn't see that coming before that. You know what I'm saying? Why won't you change that, you know, move forward? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You know what I'm saying? So it won't happen. That don't supposed to happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff is you are creating. Like I heard Myron Golden say, God is shaking you to move forward. I don't think he is shaking. I think he done had all the warnings. Then when it get to the point that it's falling apart, and it shows you a way, and you keep missing those ways, man. It gave you people to come in your life, and you just keep procrastinating. You keep blowing it off. You think you have time, and at the last minute, that's when things happen, man. So that's what I see with me in my life, man. When I back in the day, I was blowing in the wind. I was never prepared. I always like it's like I was one step behind. You see what I'm saying? It's like I was always couldn't catch up, you know what I'm saying, to what I wanted to do. So when I started preparing and started putting in the future, seeing what I wanted and going after what I want, it made me more. And I started preparing for it. It wasn't hard to me to do the things.
You
I
know
was
that uh, everything you said, Fletcher, we can kind of connect the dots to who you are today, who I am today. A few days ago, Fletcher and I were talking on the phone, and I was telling him, if I only knew who I was today, if the person I am right now, this moment, today, had I known that 15 years ago, what things I would have done to make this person who I am even better than he is today. And the thing is, it's that thing we're talking about right now, and the thing that we want you all to deal with yourself right now is your purpose. You see, the creator, we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. And Fletcher was talking about this preparedness. That preparedness is that person he is today. What if this Fletcher, who he is today, this extra who I am today, could have spoken to that Fletcher 15 years earlier. I mean, you all were beholding someone today and you look at it and you with such admiration and you appreciate the conversation he give you all on a regular basis on Facebook. Here you all are tuning in on the world premiere, Word on the Streets, and you hear the both of us speak so passionately about the subject matter of personal development, self improvement, working on getting out of your comfort zone, achieving your goals, striving, moving forward. What if that person who we are today, what if we had known who we were to become? Perhaps 15 years ago, we might have dedicated more time to molding and putting more information because what we want and what you want, see, that person was there 15 years ago. We didn't see it or recognize it because we were in our head. We were in our way. If we weren't in our way, we was entertaining other people's views of us. We were entertaining what was taught to us. We had stuff in our way until we didn't see the person we are today. So now here we are today, and we're encouraging you, don't wait 15 years later to find your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, that's something for you to start scratching the page and start pondering. What do people say? What do people admire about you? What do you feel most excited about doing and you find yourself doing? I went a little long, Fletcher, but
Yeah.
he's talked to us.
I talked to my son. He's 20, about to be 21 in December, and I constantly talk to him about things. I say the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. You know what I'm saying? The young you is the best person to take care of you, take the old you. Because the young you can do things. He can do things faster. He can do things smart. His brain is fast. You know, you're young, you're moving your knees, you're jumping, you're doing all these things. I say the young you, preparing taking care of the young you, preparing the young will take care of the old you. So we go do things like something simple. I was talking to him today when I was telling him about insurance, like medical insurance, health insurance, uh, life insurance, you know what I'm saying, car insurance. He's like, man, Dad, I got to get all these insurance. Where are you going to get the money from? And I say, yeah, that means that you need to prepare, have a job to prepare to pay for those things. You know what I'm saying? So letting them know these things. So giving the information and preparing early, putting yourself in a better position early with the information. So I think like having that elder, having that mentor to guide you, you know what I'm saying, to help you. A lot of people say, well, I don't have nobody to talk to. You got plenty of people that you can connect with that's giving the information. But a lot of times, we go out in the world blind. You know what I'm saying? We go out in the world not knowing. And then we get out there and we're not prepared. We're not ready for things that come our way. So that's what he said that, we're raising them up, raising that young self up to be a man, but the young man to be a man, a grown man. So that's what it is, man. Just preparing, man.
Yeah.
Trying to so you can give them information, especially early, so they can take care of their older self.
See, that's what I love about Fletcher, and I spoke that to him. I said that to him personally in that conversation. You notice what he did, friends? I asked a question, very pointed question. What if we can reverse the time and talk to that person who we are today? And immediately, without any hesitation, he talked about talking to his kids. See, here's the important because Fletcher is passionate, and so am I, about not having someone else miss 15 years of things that he only wished he could have said or someone could have said to him. Am I characterizing that right or wrong, Fletcher?
You said that perfectly fine, man. That's the best way to say it. I wish, like I said, my best thing is I don't want nobody to walk out the door blinded like I did, man. Just clueless to the facts of things, man. You can't say that. I tell my kids that all the time. My older kid, you won't say that I didn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? So I try to give it to them as basic if I can. And if I can't give it to them, I find someone that can. You know what I'm saying? Videos, or I get them a mentor that can reach them. That's it.
Hey, friends, in our last program, uh, we was very fortunate to have an excellent guest to show up. There's an old saying, a Chinese proverb, but I really believe it's a spiritual proverb that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When things are at the right season, the rain will fall, the snow will fall, the sun will shine. You will have the different seasons all coming at the right time. Not a moment too early and not a moment too late. Such is the case right now, friends. In our last episode, we was fortunate to have a gentleman by the name of Vincent Craig to join our community. And for some strange reason, we couldn't get this program started correctly or rightly. And I just put it together in this episode live right before you all. It had nothing to do with anything except the fact the program wanted to legally start, properly start with Vincent Craig in our studio in the world premiere community right now. Vincent, welcome to World Premiere.
Good evening, extraordinary. Keith, how's it going? Sorry I'm late. I had sat down and have dinner, and it seems like I came in right on time. I'm laughing at what Keith said because sometimes, as I told you, extraordinaire, Keith had to, I asked him if he could speak to my youngest, because my youngest is best friends with one of his sons. I don't take that lightly. I don't just give people permission to just speak to my children, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain, I'm a very spiritual person, and I know the spirits tend to jump, right? But it's like, even though at 20, my son, he's a young man, you still like to give permission, right? Even when you're pouring into someone, I've learned over time, extraordinary Keith, not everyone wants my opinion. Sometimes I have to ask them if it's okay for me to give them my suggestion, because when I ask them, it lightens the blow and they become less on the defensive. And so when I do tell them the truth about something, they can't get mad at me because they gave me the authority to just go ahead and speak. So I also would like to add to what Keith said earlier. Sometimes the experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think we as parents, we don't always want our children to go through certain things. We move from certain neighborhoods, or we try to, I don't want to say shelter them, but we try to put them in a new environment, but then teach them, bring back what we learned. And sometimes that's hard to do because if the person isn't in the environment themselves, it's hard for them to adapt and understand. Right. And I know Keith can attest to this. Like, we stay in the suburbs. We didn't come up in the suburbs. We came up in the hood.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's kind of hard to, like, I look at this generation extraordinaire. It's hard for me to say at 20 that I was doing the same thing that my 20-year-old was doing. I may have been, but times are different, right? Everything evolves, everything changes. We just try to put our best foot forward to just teach our kids something and put them around individuals, like-minded individuals. It's two things that someone is going to tell you, teach you. Either they're going to teach you what to do or they're going to teach you what not to do, right? So when Keith gets the permission from me, I have to trust Keith. I can't go back and say, I may go back and say, hey, man, how did the conversation go? But that's between Keith and my son, right? Because if I've given him that authority, then I've already trusted him to give the right knowledge, right? But experience sometimes is the best teacher. I didn't have a dad, right? But somehow, some way, God put me around the right individuals to learn how to be a man, even though I was raised by a single black female in the streets of South Dallas, not knowing what my biological father looked like. I had the courtesy of I was blessed to have a stepfather for 5 years, and he put the foundation in, right? But I can't use the excuse of I didn't have a dad, right? Because God put me around enough God-fearing men to use as examples, as I stated, of what to do and what not to do. There's nothing wrong with the buffet, right? I got to choose what I want from that buffet and eat from that buffet and choose, all right, well, I don't want that. That's not good for me. I think what we're doing as parents is we're really trying to help our kids as much as possible. But as I'm starting to find out, sometimes our kids just have to go through things and it's not our fault.
Okay. Hey, we want to broaden our conversation even wider, friends. But before we do, if this is your first time tuning in to our platform, please subscribe and hit like. We have passionate discussion like this every Thursday at 7:30 Central Time, and we go live every Thursday. If for some reason we decide to go live on a different day, once you subscribe, friends, you will get notification without any equivocation, no question, no anything. You would be notified. So please do subscribe to our channel. I want to play something, and Fletcher, if you don't mind, we'd like to hear your take on this, please.
What is your destiny? Your destiny is your passion. Every human has passion, but our culture hides it. Our culture says, pursue a career for paychecks, not for passion. And so you live just to survive, not to make a difference.
And we're talking about finding your purpose. And that's when you find your purpose, you'll find your passion. And that's why, friends, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about how this dribbles down to our kids and what we're giving back to them. But with that, Dr. Miles Monroe question, Fletcher, the floor is yours, brother.
Man, I was just trying to hit it again. You played it a little fast.
Well, I'll play it again. Yeah.
Play it one more
That's
time
good.
for me to hear it. I'm sorry.
It's good to hear it twice.
Yeah,
I didn't say it sounds so good. I got to play it twice.
play it again.
What is your destiny? Your destiny is your passion. Every human has passion, but our culture hides it.
Yeah.
Our culture says, pursue a career for paychecks, not for passion. And so you live just to survive, not to make a difference.
I got
Hold
it.
on.
Unfortunately, man, when I'm just saying, when I grew up and the paychecks were more important, I was trying to survive. So I didn't know this thing called passion. I was trying to survive. I was trying to take care of my family. I had no idea about passion. You know, once you get past in, you know, I got a high school, you think you're going to be a football star or track star, all these dreams you have. And then once those things, it was about trying to survive at my era. You know, so I fast forward to my children, you know what I'm saying? The things that I learned and understand what passion is. You know, my mama never told me what passion was. You know, they just told you to go to work, get a job, take care of your family, be a man. So when I'm talking to especially my boys, my daughters too, but my boys, I try to let them understand find yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Try to find what you love to do before you go putting on these other people, your family, your wife, your kid. Try at least, you know what I'm saying, to leave a little space, even if you get them, carve a little space out for you, you know what I'm saying, to have for yourself. That have for you when you do find your purpose, that you can run with it. You know what I'm saying? If you got some money, some time, but make a time that they don't care if you got to get up early in the morning, stay up late at night, carve a little time out with you to have time for yourself to find yourself. You know what I'm saying? Find the Most High. I always talk about the four pillars, so spiritual health, physical health, mental health, and financial health. So spiritual, again, all that's in that time when you're alone, speaking with the Most High, getting direction from Him, trying to become that person that you need to be. Because sometimes you're not that person you need to be. So you need that time to yourself, to carve out that time to be by yourself. To hear those wisdom things that somebody done gave you, your father done gave you, your mother done gave you, your or somebody close you done gave you, so you can sit back and then that's that mental health. Meditate on those things. You know what I'm saying? And be right now that I always talk about your vision, man. What do you want your vision? Where you want to be in 10 years, 20 years? Right now, goals. Or when you in that survival mode, man, when you in that grind and nobody ain't pouring it into you, it's hard to think about passion. It's hard to not have no direction. So that's why I say, man, getting that time by yourself and really figuring out what you want to do and getting with a mentor. And that's what I want for the young people. I know I'm going long, but that's why I try to with the young people and talk to them and make them say, hey, slow down. What you rushing for? You know what I'm saying? Let's think about it. Even with the parents, I tell them, hey, man, let's slow down. Kids graduated. Well, hey, slow down. They got time. Let's find what they really want. Let's plan out something, man. It's just like say wealth management. You know what I'm saying? Managing your time, managing your wealth, everything is a management. But I think we rush into things too fast. That's what I'm learning in this season right now for me, man. With mine is just helping them plan out, working together with them, and helping people plan out the things and managing things better than what we do. And that's what I take.
I'm really loving all of this. And the thing about life, the thing about being human, is that we are all connected. We generally love certain things and we dislike other things. It's just something about the human spirit, the human experience. And sometime in life it's necessary to stop and have conversations as such. Because we're living in a world now, Vincent, whereby almost every conversation starts off with how much money you're going to make. How much does it cost? Everything almost where we live in America is based on income, money. And as we have said so often, Fletcher and I, things outside of yourself will never heal and never fix the things eternally inside. And the reason why this conversation is so necessary, because no matter how you draw the map, friends, and no matter what situation it is, whether you go from psychology to philosophy to neuroscience, biology, medical, it all comes to this thing, this elusive thing that we can't seem to put our finger on, but it was there from the beginning. That is the Almighty Creator. The Creator made us in the image of the Creator. And so out of that creation, we get hijacked by a system based on materialistic probes. And we get lesson and it get dribbled down to us in our DNA. And we dribble it down. We keep that cycle going round and around in a circle. But we all quest eternally inside. We all quest because we know something just ain't right. That soul inside just don't feel right. We try to fill it up with alcohol. We try to smoke it. We try to vein it up. We try to party it up. We trying to fill that void. We're all in search of that purpose. My goodness, that purpose. The purpose. I love it. Vincent went delicately as he could about his upbringing and how he transformed from his upbringing to make sure that he assimilated a different upbringing for his kids, even if it meant for him to get out of the way. Get out of the way. How the song go, brother? Move, get out the way, get out the way, let someone else. Man, look, I got to get out of the way because I don't want my kids to go through this. And then at some point, as he said, they're gonna go through it anyway. It's just part of living. But as much as minutia as I can move out of the way, that's what I want to do. And friends, so this conversation about purpose and passion is a needed conversation. Vincent, this one for you.
What would you do for no paycheck? Let me say it another way. What would you do without compensation? What would you do if you never get paid to do it? That's your destiny. Because destiny doesn't work for money. That's why a person who found their destiny don't have a job. Because destiny is not a job. It's an assignment.
It's on you, my brother.
No, I like what Dr. Miles Monroe said. I've always heard the term of if you find something that you do. I think my wife told me this too, and I've heard other people. I didn't hear it until she said it. If you find something that you'll do for free, you'll never work a day in your life. I know for me, and Keith can attest to this, for me it's coaching, whether it be individuals with the same age as me or young men. But for me, it's like the passion for me came because of what I didn't have, right? I like pouring in the young men. I like pouring. My first occupation of what I wanted to be was three things. I wanted to be and Keith, don't laugh because it's all coming back to fruition. One was a lawyer, one was a second grade teacher, and one was a stockbroker. My stepfather at the time said, well, there's enough crooks in the world, so that left lawyer out, working off in the legal field. But I liked the idea because coming from a single parent home, I like that being that first point of contact. That's why I used to volunteer at church in like the youth ministry, because sometimes I might be the only representation of a man that they see, and that may not be until a Wednesday or a Sunday whenever we had church. For me, it was important to pour back into. It says from the biblical aspect, to whom much is given, much is expected, much is required. However, whichever version that you're reading. To me, I take it as a privilege and a responsibility to be a leader of men. The key can always attest to this. Even when I was out there coaching, I would give the young men the respect, and I say yes, sir, because I was teaching them what I wanted. Right? It's hard for you to ask for something that you're not doing. Right. So for me, that passion for me has always been pouring into people, wanting to see them to get better, teaching, mentoring. Like that's never stopped for me. I've done it for free. I say I'm doing it for free, but I know that the Heavenly Father is going to bless me and has already been blessing me because of the seeds that I planted in these young men. It's good when you see guys from that you coached in sixth grade, fourth, fifth, third, fourth, second through sixth grade. They see you at the age of 25 and they're saying, hey, aren't you aren't you Coach V? And I'm like, yeah. And it like dawned on me. I'm like, oh, one of them, and I'm not trying to name drop. I was eating at one of my nephew's graduations, whether you call it dinners. I'm sitting up there eating with the family. The guy that's taking the order, he says, A-Train's dad? A-Train he's my 25-year-old son. At the time he was playing ball, the coach allowed him to put their, well, how do you call it, nicknames on their jerseys. I had the pleasure of coaching Drew Pearson's, one of his grandsons. He played on the same team, and he noticed me last month, and he said, "Aren't you A-Train's dad?" And I looked, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So it's a privilege, right? I don't take that lightly. Like I really take that responsibility of leadership. A good leader knows his or her flock. It doesn't just have to be a man; it could be a woman. My mom led. I've talked to Keith a lot of times about this. My mom didn't really say a lot, but I watched her actions. Mom was tight and frugal with money, managed money well, balanced the checkbook. She never said, "Vince, come sit down, come watch me," because I probably wouldn't have. And well, I'm gonna say I wouldn't have. You don't tell moms no. But at that time, I was everything that she was doing. It was everything that she taught me. It was by action. We didn't talk about the birds and the bees. Why? Didn't matter. I feared her. Her not talking to me about that was my fear of, okay, if I do this, I already know what's going to happen or either what's not going to happen. So long-winded answer, but for me, my purpose, I think one of my purposes is to continue pouring into men and people that allow me and give me that space and that authorization to do so.
Friends, we certainly hope y'all enjoying the show. And let me just share this with you all. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short break. But on the flip side, look, I feel like I've been talking far too much, but on the flip side, we're just gonna let the leash off for Keith Fletcher. And Fletcher, on the flip side, when we come back, brother, I want you to just talk passionately, man. If share whatever you would like to share, because I know how blessed you are in communicating your views, which is why when he and I get on the phone, time can go by for literally hours because the brother pour out so much information, and the dots just connect from one thing to the other. So when we come back, we're gonna really hear Fletcher lay it out and hear Vincent and Keith pour their heart out to us, friends. And I like to just sit back. Can I sit at the dinner table with you guys and enjoy some of this good food y'all gonna be serving up on the flip side?
Yes, sir.
I would love.
It's all good.
I would love.
It's good.
All right, after the commercial, friends, y'all know what we in for.
Discover your purpose and ignite your passion with our motivational t-shirt. Wear your why on your sleeve and let it fuel your journey. Perfect for anyone seeking inspiration and motivation. Know your why, fuel your passion t-shirt, and start living the life you deserve. Available now. Wear your passion proudly.
There's another season. It's called the season of disappointing. And that's the season where God gets you ready for what he already has ready for you. It's where he prepares you for what he already has prepared for you. It's the place that makes you strong enough to stay there when you get there.
Walking in your purpose doesn't begin with a big moment. It begins with a bold decision to step outside your comfort zone. Purpose lives on the other side of fear, in the space where faith stretches you. It's about saying yes to who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. Your purpose is found in your passion, your pain, and the people you're called to impact. Every time you move in alignment with your gifts and your values, that's purpose in motion. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Meet your moment by moving now. Start where you are, do what you can, and grow through every step you take. Don't compare. Concentrate on your own development.
Somebody else's assignment is not my business. My assignment is my business. And if I'm focused on my assignment, then and only then can I fill my assignment. I can't be competing with Max and saying, okay, I gotta outdo Max. I don't have to outdo Max. I can't outdo Max. The only person who can outdo Max is Max, right? You wanna compare yourself to something, compare your practice right now with your potential.
Oh, that was really good. That was really good. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please pray and Vincent.
Man, yeah, Vincent, and I'm among extraordinary and Vincent. You know what I'm saying? We all got our different ways, but extraordinary told me when he was young, he wrote a check to himself. He knew what he wanted. Vincent just explained what he wanted to do in leadership. My life was nothing like that, man. Nothing. I'm serious. I had no clue as what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be better than my dad. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a better father. For real, like if I get a son or get a daughter, I'm gonna do these things. That's all I had in my mind. But when I started getting around people, I went to the military. Growing up, I was always, I would say I was an angry kid, but I always was around people, but I would be like over, you know what I'm saying? I'm always the one gotta be the bad, but I wasn't gonna follow nobody, you know what I'm saying? I had my way of doing things, but I some kind of way, I'm always the Most High always put me with somebody older, put me with somebody that was gonna guide me, even when I didn't know it, you know what I'm saying? He would put me with somebody that I could learn something from all through my life. So military, I would learn, but put me in certain positions, and I was too confident in anything, and I was overconfident, and you couldn't tell me nothing because I love me. I always did love me. You couldn't tell my self-esteem was so high, but I still I wasn't filled up. I didn't know nothing, So over time, I started watching people, and I started shaping myself towards somebody to do, somebody to say, somebody to see. I see it, I hear it, I touch it. You know what I'm saying? So if I touch somebody that I was impressed by, I'm listening, I'm seeing them, I'm hearing them, I'm putting my hands on them. So, and I would take something from them and add it to me. You know what I'm saying? All through it, I would take something from each person that I felt that has something that works for me. You know what I'm saying? And through all the time I was learning, the military, you becomes a leader. I started looking back, like in my childhood, like people followed me, but they were following me for the wrong reason. Even in the military, I had young guys, follow me in the military, but they were, again, following me for the wrong reason. Wasn't nothing, a purpose, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that, the bad guy's gonna be with me, you know what I'm saying? The tough guy's gonna be with me. It wasn't nothing a purpose, you know what I'm saying? So as I started growing, and I'm in the streets, I'm doing stuff, it always was the wrong side. So when I got into management with one of his guys, man, the dude, man, me and friends today, he had gold teeth in his mouth, and he came and persuaded me to come work with him at Foot Locker as a manager. And when I was working with him, I would see how he talked. I would see his work ethic, how professional he was. You know what I'm saying? Even he looking like he a thug, but he didn't carry himself like that. And I remember one day I walked in the store, and I didn't look. I heard some people talking in the corner. And it sounded like two white guys were talking, and I didn't look. I paid no mind. Went to the back. I come back up to the front, and I see him. I said, "Hey man, who was that in the store?" You know what I'm saying? He said, "What you mean?" I said, "Man, I heard two white guys talking. I didn't pay no mention. Who was in the store? When did you come in?" He said, "No, that was me and so and so." I said, "Man, that was you talking like that?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh man, you got to teach me how to speak like that. You got to show me how to carry myself." You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm making a long story. So everywhere I went, man, when I started looking at everybody, because I didn't have no foundation I had no idea of who I wanted to be. I had no purpose of what I wanted to do. I didn't even know how that person be. All I knew was one, man, if we talk about math, I knew one way. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to go to counseling. The lady say, "Keith, it's black or gray with you?" Yes, that's it. And one way. But I started letting people in and start looking at other people and getting jobs. And I remember the guy I was training with this one guy, and I said, man, and I kept trying to do it this way. He said, Keith, take a little bit from me, but don't do it my way, do it your way. He gave me permission. I'm serious, crazy. He gave me permission to say the way you doing it is okay. Your way ain't messed up. You just need a little tweaks to it. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to sound like me, but you can sound like you. So going after when I got that, I knew it was okay to be like me, and I started looking. So like what Vince said, me and Vince met. You know what I'm saying? Now we totally different. And Vince started coaching. And I remember he said to me, he said, why don't you come out there and coach? And I'm like, coaching? Man, kids now. You know? And I'm sitting out there and I'm getting out there and I'm working with the kids and the kids listening to me and I'm sitting there. He telling me, hey man, you can't be doing that around the kids, you know. You can't be careful. Like, all right, man, I got it. But I say he knew he wanted to be a leader. He carried himself just like he's saying, man, I want to come here. I want to be, I want to change kids' lives. And I'm confident. Then the other I'm watching them.
Your mic cutting off and on.
It is?
Yes.
How about that?
Okay.
And so I'm gonna get to the point, like, so one day me and my son, we coaching a team. I don't know if I ever told Vince. So the kid was calling me Coach Fletcher. So me and Makai get in the car and we driving. And he looked at me, he said, Dad. I said, what's up, son? He's like, you know, you really is a coach. You know, really is a coach. He say, Dad, you a coach for real. Proud of me saying that, you know. And the reason I'm saying these things, like, we look at that thing, we got to know. You don't have to know everything at first. The Most High gonna bring it together. But that's why I say you need to spend that time with yourself to be searching to get better, to become better. You know what I'm saying? Like the B do have, try to become better. And when I get around men, you know what I'm saying, men, right people, they made me better. It does matter. The people, 5 or 10 people around make a difference. So when I started getting around people that was doing that, seeing about doing it, I started copying them traits. You know what I'm saying? I started becoming something. I started seeing, okay, I like that. Let me take that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I understand. Even when I didn't understand it, I would wait. You know what I'm saying? I would wait and see why, what reason, not just coming to my own understanding. And that's when I started learning how to become a leader. That's when I started learning how to be a better father, a better husband, even, you know, a better friend. You know what I'm saying? So that's my purpose like that. I'm just saying, except for the people that don't know, they be like, man, I don't know my passion. Sometimes it's all around you. You're just not receiving it. You just got to use what you have around you, gather information, see, hear, touch those things, and them things will guide you to your purpose too. It'll guide you to your destiny too.
Hey, Keith, I do have a quick question for you, like in extraordinary. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
No, go ahead on. I was just about to ask for you.
Like, how many times have we really, you know, the Bible says we have not because we ask not. How many times have we just, even as coming up, I didn't do it right until I hit a certain point into my spiritual walk to where I started asking him, started asking the Most High, like, hey, what is it that you want me to do, right? But it also says off in the Bible, it says sometimes other people around you will tell you what you're good at. It says, let others praise you and not yourself. Be humble, right? A lot of us aren't approachable for people to tell us certain things, right?
Okay.
We've been in the corporate world. This one lady told me she was my controller. This was back in 2005. You know, I'm in the corporate world. I've been in the accounting world for about 30 years plus. This is a older Mexican lady. She was my controller. I was probably, 25, 26. I hadn't had my first child yet, so I was still, yes. I was under that age. She came to my desk during one of the meetings that we had, and she said, you know what, you're not approachable. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm here to do a job. Like, what does that mean? right? I'm doing my job, no complaints. I'm just a brother from Oak Cliff that always has a frown and has a serious mean mug look on his face, right? And I said, I'm not here to make friends. I say, is it my fault that people are afraid to approach me? But I wasn't listening. I was listening to defend myself instead of listening to take the advisement. I think a lot of us, until we get to that point to where we start asking for advice and being open to the advice, again, step back, how many times have we come to the Father and said, what is it that you want me to do? I know I'm good at this. I know I'm good at this, but we also have to allow people to give us compliments. And sometimes we're not the best at taking compliments, right? We feel like we don't deserve those compliments, right? We self-sabotage ourselves. We're not deserving of that. Like you said, extraordinary. We're made in his image and in his likeness. We're kings and queens too, right? As big G, we're little G, right? I can't do everything. I'm not omnipresent, right? But there are certain gifts that I know with the power of the tongue, which comes with me coaching these young men and these young women, and even people my age and older, right? There's power. I can give life to people by coaching them up, right? I can say a good word. It starts there. Like, how many of us have really just asked the Most High, like, what is it that you want me to do? I'm 53 right now, and I'm still asking at times, right? Because let's be real, it evolves and it changes, right? Sometimes
That's
your
right.
passion and your
That's
purpose
right.
changes
That's right.
according to the season that we're in,
That's right.
right? My purpose
That's
and my
right.
passion may not be the same in 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It changes.
That's right.
Back over to you.
It's a constant change. And we have to be willing to ride with the waves in life instead of being locked in. Because, you know, as we said in the previous show, nature doesn't, a tree just doesn't grow one time and say, okay, that's it, that's the limit. No, it's a constant reproducing. And here's the thing, friends, for people who are just tuning in. By the way, make sure you subscribe, click like, join the community, world premiere word on the streets. But here's the thing, friends. You have three individuals before you right now that came from different walks of life. All three of us have our isms about us. We got some things that we got some good things we brought to the table. We got a hell of a lot of bad stuff we brought to the table. But here's the thing: the creator can take all of that, and use it if you want to be used. If you really want to transform your condition, transform your life, if you really want to, friends, you can. You have to just, it's here's where the rubber meets the road. You really have to be serious. You have to be committed. You have to be committed to yourself, thus to yourself, to the creator. It's one thing you can go to the creator and you can ask, show me this, that, and the other, but you're not committed. It's like a farmer throwing seed on concrete. It won't grow. You won't change. Change come with a self-commitment. Sign a contract to yourself. Make a vow to yourself. And that's easy to say. It's challenging to do. And the reason why it's challenging to do, because we're living in this world. This world is not conducive for you and I to make those U-turns, but it's possible. It's possible. Sometime, oftentimes, it will require you to get out of your comfort zone. What is that comfort zone? That comfort zone is the thing that was handed to you before you even knew who you were. So you got comfortable in it. You thought that was you. No, 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 my friends. That was handed down to you, and it was handed down to them who handed it down to you. It's the matrix. But the creator, nothing is lacking, nothing is missing. And it's on you to get serious and make that transformation. Now, I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate and to be on this platform with these two gentlemen. I mean, I get to have my nephew almost at any whims. I could pick up the phone and we can talk. And sometimes I think we kind of stay away from each other because we know when we get on, we don't know where the end is. Because I can listen to the words coming out of Fletcher mouth because it's just like music. It's music. It's the things that I listen to when I'm searching the internet. And what I'm searching for, I'm searching to carve this person called Larry extraordinaire. I'm searching to carve that person to be better, better, better. How am I get better, better, better? I got to hear it and I have to apply it. I just can't hear it, Vincent. You have to apply some of this stuff that I'm hearing. So I get excited listening to both you guys, and I'm gonna refrain myself because I want to sit back. I want to hear some more, and then after that, it's almost that time where we in out. But Fletcher, won't you dive in here, man? You and Vincent, man, won't y'all give us some more such that good knowledge about purpose and passion? And by the way, Selena, Ladiana, see y'all in the chat room. Good stuff. Thank y'all for y'all support. Go ahead on, Fletcher.
Nah, man, like I say, man, my ways, man. I'm just, I just, no, I go there every day. Like I said, when I wake up in the morning, I don't know if I'm looking for purpose. I'm just looking for to let them use me. You know what I'm saying? It's just different for me. It's just in the morning when I get up, I'm just excited about what he's about to do for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about who I'm going to meet, who I'm going to talk to, what's about to happen, and I get excited about it, man. About it. You know, even if the bad comes, you know what I'm saying? Talking to my son about something that he done and explaining it to him instead of getting mad about it. You know, even sometimes I get mad and I got to come back and hey, look, look, I shouldn't have done it that way. I said, look to what I'm trying to explain to you. Even with my wife, man, you know, things just trying to be better, man. Just like you said, man, extraordinary. I love talking on the phone, so that I don't mind talking to anybody. Vince, some people, you have to tell me to get off the phone because I'm just waiting to hear what the Most High got for me. You know what I'm saying? What the wait, he might need me to just listen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like Selena, we'll talk to each other early in the morning. I know when she calling me, hey, it's the purpose what they calling me. First, hey, good morning, everything okay, but let's talk. You know what I'm saying? How can I be used? You know what I'm saying? That's what I always on my mind. How you want to use me in the right way, not the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm learning more. Even when I'm dealing with people, I'm learning more to be quiet and just listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning more just to wait before I speak. At least think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because something I say, like I said, the power of the tongue can turn somebody the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Can lead somebody in the wrong direction. So that's my purpose, just to sit back and listen and let them think, and then ask them the question. You know what I'm saying? Learning to be more. Well, what you think you should have done on that? You know where that's going at. You know that just then think about that instead of thinking about so quick to say something, so quick to be so smart. You know, so that's what with me, man. I'm just trying to learn how to deal with people. You know what I'm saying? So I can be a better vessel for that person to help that person. Which when they help them, it's helping me. So again, how to bring value to someone. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the kids is way more. The kids is real important to me about the kids. Again, I don't want no one going out that door like I went out that door. And the Most High blessed me. He blessed me. And I tell my son all the time, like, man, I was so close to the fire. I'm telling my son, I was on the edge. I was tiptoeing on the edge, man, to fall into unknown. Nothing good would have came, but he let me tiptoe all the way, you know, you get to the edge and he start, oh Lord, thank you. That was me. That was me right on that edge so
Yeah.
many times. And he let me be. But that's it, man.
Awesome. Go ahead on, Vincent.
You know, I like what Keith said. I also like to backtrack. And as we're talking about our children and purpose, and I remember Keith saying, you know, for him, it was about survival, right? There really was no purpose. It was like, but again, depending on what season you're in, what stage of life we're in, that does, kind of shift the focus. What I've learned in management, in leading people and in leading the family, sometimes you have to give a piece of yourself to others in order for them to really buy in. And what I mean by that is sometimes you have to share your dirt as far as what you've gone through. It's nothing worse than a family secret, right? But then again, how do you expect someone to learn if you don't share, right? I think a lot of us are afraid to share because of the shame that may come upon us, or that we feel that may come upon us because of what we're sharing. But I once told somebody, my testimony needs to be heard by somebody. What someone wants to do with it after it leaves my mouth, and if they want to use it against me, that's not God. That's not God. That's the enemy trying to keep my mouth shut. So for me, what I've had to learn to do was, I remember when I made the transition on a team. I was a peer many years ago, but then I got promoted to supervisor. Nothing really changed for me because I acted the same when I was a peer up to the leader, right? So that's why I said there was no transitional change. But what I had to understand was I had to give my team members a piece of me in order for them to buy into my trust. It took someone telling me, when we used to have those one-on-one meetings, we really would like to hear more about you, your personal life, or what it is that you do, And I get it, in corporate world, it's so like it's a thin line. Like, we got to be careful. But when I have God leading me, I can't be afraid to speak and say certain things and do certain things, because he knows my intentions, right? And if I'm seeking him for guidance in everything that I do and filtering things through him, then it's okay. Even if I fail, I don't fail and fall down. I fail and I get up, right? But I think the most thing that I've learned is sharing some of my dirt and some of the things and struggles that I went through with my children, because it lets them know that they're not the only ones that were going through this. I went through this. I can associate, I can understand kind of what you're going through. Times may be different, but I get it, right? We got to be sometimes transparent and not be afraid of, like you said last week, I think we talked about shame. We can't let that shame hit us and prevent us from sharing our testimony to help others.
That's right. That's right. Hey, brothers, I'm just loving. I'm eating it up, folks. I just love, man. These two guys are awesome. I got one last question, Brother Vincent, amazing Keith Fletcher, and I'd like for you all to share what y'all feel about this question with our wonderful audience. And after that, we're gonna close it out of here. But this been an incredible show tonight. Vincent, you really added some nice flavor to the show.
Yes.
And definitely hope, man, that this can be a continuation of something. If so, it'll be really fantastic. But Fletcher, any one of y'all could take the bite of this, man. Y'all listen to this one and y'all roll with it.
Number one, your purpose and your destiny is whatever makes you angry. Your anger is your purpose and your destiny. Whatever makes you angry, you're supposed to fix. Everyone was born to solve a problem. Every time you see the problem, you become angry. No one else becomes angry, just you. That's a sign that that's your area of destiny.
Anyone?
So is he still talking? Oh,
Now you
no.
go ahead, Vince.
No, I can definitely talk on this one. If you can let me speak first, Keith.
No, go ahead. You go, Vince. Go ahead.
This goes in line with what I just said. I came up in a single parent home. I was mad. I was angry because my dad wasn't there, right? So what did I want to do? I wanted to make sure I was the best father, the best leader, the best husband, the best at everything. But I took some wise advice. It said, be careful what you resent because you may become.
Mm.
And that was like strong. And I was like, okay, I can't if I'm resenting my dad, if I'm mad at him. Keith doesn't know this, but I also write poetry. And I met with a publicist about 20 years ago. He looked at some of my poetry and he says, man, I mean, extraordinary. When I can tell you, I can drop it at the drop of a dime. Like I have some still here today. Like I would sit at work and I would write it on Post-it notes. I had a gift of, I wanted to do one a day so I can do 365, so I can have one for each day of the year. The publicist said, you really hate your father, don't you? I was like, how do you know? He said, your writing is good. He said, but there has to be a happy ending to this. He said, it can't just be all about hate. But I was putting down on paper my emotions and what I felt. So to me, what Miles Monroe was asking, what was stating was what was making me mad was being not having a dad who was in the same city, right? Up the street. So for me, I wanted to make sure, again, best dad, didn't know how to do that. God put men in my pathway and allowed me to be humble and something that a lot of kids don't do right now, observe, see, because they so face down on these phones and technology and this and that to where they miss it. It's right in front of them, but they miss it. So for me, it was definitely, which is why I got into coaching, which is why I got into mentoring, which is why I got into teaching, which is why I got into leadership. I'm an introvert, right? It's hard to get me to talk, but I'm talking here, right? Because I know this is a podium that God wants to use to get out into the world, whether we have an audience of 5, 10, 15, 20. We are leaving a digital fingerprint for someone to look at this later on in life and say, you know what, let's look at what they were talking about on that night. So that was truly my passion because I was angry at my old man, right? I've had to forgive him from afar, right? Because how do I expect to get into heaven if I'm not forgiving someone, right? It says that in the Bible, if you're not forgiving, I'm not going to forgive you, right? So I was mad, and that's why what motivated me and pushed me and fueled my fire to be a better, like, teach and touch these young men and people, women, men, or whoever trusts me enough to come to me and be humble enough to be like, you know what, I'm listening. I've seen you. How can you help me?
And you know what, Vincent? They all often say you won't be destroyed for your anger. You will be destroyed by your anger.
Agreed.
Go ahead on, Fletcher.
Well, mine was, man, I came up extraordinary. I came up from a big family, man. I'm fortunate to meet my great grandfather, great grandmother as a kid. All my great aunts, uncles, and cousins, and I've been around. I had a big family. So when when I got away from my family, I moved to Dallas, and I came. I had no family. I had no family at all, man. And I started being around people that didn't have family. You know what I'm saying? I started seeing how hard it was not to have a family. Like people didn't have their mama was working all the time, so who was always at their house or whatever, they didn't have, I ain't never went without missing a meal. You know what I'm saying? I could go eat at my aunt's house, uncle house, I had a godmother, I always had people. So when I got to Dallas and I got around people that didn't have, that bothered me. It bothered me. You know what I'm saying? Then when they don't have confidence. They don't have self-esteem. I always had confidence. I always had self-esteem. Anybody know me, when you met me, I'm going to say my name. Hey, you don't know me, I'm Keith Fletcher. Go ask somebody about me. You know what I'm saying? I always had that confidence. You know what I'm saying? I always about me. You know what I'm saying? Love me. But I would meet people and I never could understand it. Even with girls, you know what I'm saying? I never had no problem getting no girls. I never had no problem not being scared to talk to no girls. Never had no problem dealing with people. So when I met people like that, it bothers me that people didn't have. So my mom would always tell me, I was giving myself, she said, Keith, you're always trying to save somebody. You know what I'm saying? You can't save the world. You know what I'm saying? And I used to say, well, why not, Mom? You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs. So I'm always had, like my ex-wife, Selena, she'll tell you now, man, somebody always stayed with me. I always had my door open for somebody. You know what I'm saying? I always had my door open, or money or food or whatever I'm going to give. I've always been that dude that did that. You know what I'm saying? Probably a lot of people that didn't deserve it, but to this day, I always, kids helping I've been there. You know what I'm saying? But like I was angry about things, and that anger poured out, like you said, about how people were being treated. Then the people that I would help, it was hard to help them. I'm like, I couldn't get them to see, like, hey, why don't you do this and do that and do this? And they wouldn't do it, and I would get angry. I'm like, man, you don't see this, man. It's just this simple. Do this, do this, do this. You know what I'm saying? And they would never get to that point. I used to, it would bother me, like, how they can't see that? How they not, you know? And I would keep doing that to the point that I start realizing for real, like, you know, you say you can't take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. You can do all that stuff. You can't make them drink it. All you can do is give the message. All you can do is do your part, and that's it. It's up to them. You know what I'm saying? It's up to them to. And it took me years to realize that. It took me years. You know, like when people see me, man, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people because I never had judgment on nobody. I always came with an open heart. I always came with an open mind because I always came, like you said, to solve a problem. I believe any problem can be solved. You know what I'm saying? You tell me something, I'm a solutionist. You know what I'm saying? We can figure it out. I've been that way ever since I've been little. And it got me some stuff, it got me a thing, but it always worked out. I'm talking about from the lowest thief and scandalous person that been with me, and I have, but they, you know what I'm saying, to the best, you know what I'm saying, to the smartest, intelligent, you know what I'm saying, the corporate person that it been all, but I always had an open heart with that. So that was my part about my passion was like, I always felt the problem you got, I can solve that problem. You know what I'm saying? We can work together. You know what I'm saying? We can. I always looked at for the good in something, man. And you know, and I never led with my dad was talking to me yesterday. He said, "Man, boy, you never was scared of nothing. You know, no, I ain't never been scared of no man. I ain't never been scared of putting myself in a position with somebody. I've been around dudes that's like for real street dude, like, and I ain't never been uncomfortable because I came there with an open heart, open mind." Really want to solve a problem, you know what I'm saying? And it got me places, and it probably got me out of places. So that been my passion right there. I just feel like everybody need a helping hand, you know what I'm saying, at that time. And I try to help them, and that's my passion now. I just want to help, you know what I'm saying, my voice, if I can help somebody. I just want to help somebody by telling my stories where I've been, you know what I'm saying, what I've been through. And you don't have to go through what I've been through, you know what I'm saying? You can do better. But now I learn now, instead of me trying to force it, just give it. You know what I'm saying? I'll give it the best way I can, and that's it. I hope you receive it. If you don't, I can move on.
Friends, I know you all have enjoyed this show as much as I have. If this is your first time tuning in to the world premiere Word on the Streets, don't let it be your last. And you can do so by subscribing right now. Right now, boys, right now. All you have to do is subscribe and click like, friends, so that whenever we go live, you will be notified. And if we decide to go live and it's not Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time, it doesn't matter. You still will be notified. Folks, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the world premiere Word on the Streets. We believe you're one step closer to your purpose. And Lord, know when you get your purpose, the passion will be your accelerator to drive you farther down the road. And really, isn't that what it's all about? Transforming from where you are to where you want to be. Or to put the words in Keith Fletcher, to be, do, and have. Did I get that right, Fletcher?
Yep. Be, do, have. Be fruitful, do, multiply, and you will have dominion. Let's go. That's it.
And that's it. Thank y'all so much. Vincent.
Vincent.
Yes,
Vincent,
sir.
ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hold on, Sean, now. Hold on. Hold on, Sean, now.
Yes, sir.
Vincent, did you hear the beginning of the show?
Did I hear the beginning of the show?
Now, play the beginning with the thing with the mic you introducing the platform. I don't think you heard it. Play it.
Yeah. Okay. Instead of doing our ending, we're gonna play this beginning just for our friend here, so he can hear the beginning of our show.
How many of you are hiding in your comfort zone? Hiding in that easy place? And I am here to tell you that it's time for the comfort zone to end. This is the end of the comfort zone. Now, the comfort zone is the failure zone, right? The comfort zone, now here's what's interesting about it. It doesn't feel like failure, right? What does it feel like? It feels like comfort. That's why we call it the comfort zone, right? The comfort zone is the failure zone. It's the place you settled in. But I got news for you. The comfort zone was never the place you were meant to be. Why? Because the comfort zone had been burned to the ground. Here's what's the interesting thing about the comfort zone. Oftentimes, we relish the comfort zone so much that God has to ordain that an enemy destroy it. Because I'm not going to, we ain't going to destroy it. I would destroy it, but it's a little bit too comfortable. And see, a lot of times we think that the end, we think that what's going on that's difficult is the end. But everything that feels bad ain't bad, and everything that feels good ain't good. And we think that the destruction of the comfort zone is the destruction of my life, but it's not. Right? Because why? Because my life begins at the end of my comfort zone. And we're talking right now about the end of the comfort zone. But here's what's going to happen. In your life, in my life, I can think back to times in my life where I did not end my comfort zone. God ended it. This is the end of the comfort zone. This is the end of the comfort zone.
Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Put your heart and hands together for our hosts, Larry Extraordinaire Moten, and the one and only, the amazing Keith Fletcher. In addition, our special guest host, the smooth but eloquent Mr. Vincent Craig. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets.
You
That's
slide
what we
it
had.
off. Boy,
Yeah, that's going down, man.
I like that. I like that. Hey, I'm gonna have to give you an updated photo because that other one was, ooh man, you caught me in a bad moment. You caught me in a bad moment.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. I would, because I know you got to log off. We have to log off. I would like to say something real quick, and something that I used to tell my athletes and people that I've mentored and folks that I've trained. There is no growth in comfort. So when I saw that, all I could think about as an echo is there is no growth in comfort. There is no growth in comfort. So,
Well said. Well said.
yes.
Thank y'all, everybody. Selena says she will join and pop in to add her 2 cents in our next show. We'll see all of that. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to the world premiere Word on the Streets. And good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again. Same time, same place. Right here on world premiere Word on the Streets, where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.